We begin in the United States, where 19 children and 2 teachers have been killed in a school shooting in Texas. The attack happened at an elementary school in the town of Uvalde near the Mexican border. Police killed the 18-year-old shooter. President Joe Biden has ordered flags to be flown at half-mast, and he's urging Americans to stand up to the gun lobby.
Another day, another mass shooting in the United States. Children and adults gunned down when the teenage suspect opened fire at this Texas elementary school. He was believed to be armed with both a handgun and a semi-automatic rifle.
The suspect is deceased at this point. DPS is assisting with the investigation. And at this point, the investigation is leading to tell us that the suspect did act alone during this heinous crime.
President Joe Biden returned home to a country reeling from another mass shooting, asking the questions on the minds of many.
Why are we willing to live with this carnage? Why do we keep letting this happen? Where in God's name is our backbone to have the courage to deal with it and stand up to the lobbies?
Amid the prayers, platitudes, and familiar symbols of public mourning, anger at a system paralyzed by politics, costing the lives of ordinary Americans.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Just days after a shooter walked into a grocery store to gun down African-American patrons, we have another Sandy Hook on our hands. What are we doing?
With 200 mass shootings in the US this year alone, the debate over gun control has rarely been out of the headlines. Hillary Clinton says America is becoming a nation of anguished screams. This small town in Texas, just the latest place you'll hear the cries of pain over young lives cut tragically short.
DW correspondent Sumi Somaskanda is monitoring this story for us from Washington. A short while ago, she gave us this update.
Terry, we are getting more pictures, pieces of the picture coming into us. And as you said, 19 children dead and at least 2 adults. We know that others are still being treated in the hospital. We don't know how many, but we should say that the death toll could continue to rise. Among the students, I want to underline, we are talking about kids who are in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. So here in the U.S., that means kids from around 6 years old to around 11 who attended this elementary school. And authorities through the night have been speaking with the families of the victims, taking DNA samples to identify children. And they've said that they will only release more information to the public, to the media, once all of the families have received full information about their loved ones. We don't know how long that process will take. As for the shooting, we know this was a lone gunman, 18 years old. He attended the high school in Uvalde. And we heard that he actually shot his grandmother before getting in the car, heading to the school. He went in and proceeded to shoot in this classroom, these classrooms. It's being reported that he had a rifle that he purchased legally on his 18th birthday and that he was wearing a body armor of some sort. And Terry, I just want to add about this community. It's a very small community, fairly close to the Mexican border, heavily Latino, Latina. And this was the end of the school year. We're hearing heartbreaking details that in this elementary school, there was actually an honors award ceremony just hours before the shooting. Parents attended that. These kids were just a few days away from summer vacation, and now these parents facing an unspeakable tragedy, some of them not going home with their children.
Do we know anything about the motive of the shooter, Sumi?
Authorities are trying to piece that together right now. There are federal and local law enforcement agencies on the ground picking apart evidence. We know from other mass shootings in the U.S. that social media accounts are really important, and apparently this shooter did post some violent messages online. But we don't know, Terry, if he attended this elementary school at any point, whether he intended to attack this school at all, or most importantly, why he would commit this crime. We're waiting for more details to come in on that.
And we heard President Joe Biden urging the nation to stand up to the gun lobby. We've heard those appeals before, of course. Is there any chance that this time gun laws will be changed to make these mass shootings less likely?
There seems to be very little chance of that, Terry. I mean, as you said, there was an emotional address from President Biden demanding action. We heard that echoed across Washington from Democratic senators, representatives. And this is just 10 days after the racist rampage in a supermarket in Buffalo that killed 10 Black Americans. You know, there has been bipartisan support in the House of Representatives to pass what is called common sense gun regulation to strengthen background checks, restrict who can access weapons, but that has always hit a wall in the Senate, where Republicans have blocked any efforts to move forward. And indeed, we saw Republicans saying in the aftermath of the shooting that it is time to actually step up armed protection at schools rather than regulation. So again, Terry, avenue for change does look slim here. And I just want to add, President Biden asking the question in his address, are we ready to take on the gun lobby? The National Rifle Association, the NRA, one of the most powerful lobby groups in the U.S., is actually holding its annual convention in Texas this weekend. Among the announced speakers, the former President, Donald Trump.
Sumi, thank you so much. Our Washington correspondent, Sumi Somaskanda there.